So I actually had no idea until watching it back that she was kind of like, flirting with me like under the radar.
Kory, we loved you on Winter House, but I'm loving you 10 times more on Summer House. What was that? What was this experience like for you?
So, Winter House was completely brand new. It was like something I've never experienced before. So I think, kind of getting the cobwebs out and like kind of getting that first thing under my belt. So Summer House, I kind of had a little bit of like knowledge about how this whole process works. And Hampton's the very first time ever. I mean, I've never been there, so I was like a newbie on that. And just the vibes were great. I mean, I love summer in general and just super stoked to be able to kind of share this with everyone. And yeah, I'm loving it so far.
Definitely. Did Paige give you any advice before stepping foot in the house?
She said, don't fuck up and don't do what Craig does. No, Paige is like my sister. We give each other shit all the time, and she's a really good sounding board. So like if I have like real questions and answers, I can kind of hit her up and she shoots me straight. And she's a veteran in this game, so she's been around for a little bit. But yeah, she just said, be yourself. You're pretty awesome, and awesome to an extent, but funny, and just don't be scared to kind of like open up a little bit. And that's what I was really wanting to do. Is I have like one side of me that's very like masculine, and I have to be the tough guy, but I actually have like more parts and layers to me. So I was like trying to show that a little bit more and talk about my feelings a little bit more and show those. So
yeah. Were you nervous going to the house at all? Or was there anybody in particular that you were really hoping to meet and get to know pretty well?
So, I think I was more excited than nervous, going into a house. I knew like half the cast there because I spent winter with most of them or a handful of them, but, a little nervous because, I'm the new guy and they're already halfway through the summer. So I kind of have to come in and like, mesh with a group of people that have been hanging out for the whole summer. And I'm like, all right, let's come in there. So I think I was more excited than nervous, but right as soon as you walk in the door and I saw Kyle and everyone, I was like, all right, this is cool. We're good.
Yeah, it feels like home. And obviously you and Sam hit it off. What was it about her that you liked right from the beginning?
So I always tell her this is she wore costume that I thought was so hot, and I give her shit. She was like, it's not a costume, it's an outfit. I'm like, no, you're wearing like a Barbie doll costume. And that was her energy, I think, is the biggest thing. Like that whole night she was just like dancing and having a good time no matter where we were at, and she was just like a ball of energy. And I was like, wow, this is like me on the other side. I was like, I need this to kind of like help me like just be more of myself. So I think we help each other not be afraid to like be our bigger versions of ourselves. So that's pretty awesome.
I love that. She said that the first thing that she was attracted to you was your body. So what was the first thing that you were attracted to her about?
Her eyes, to be honest with you. She has amazing bright blue eyes and they just like pierce into you. And so that was the first thing that I noticed. And yeah, I still notice them today and they're amazing.
I mean, obviously this was filmed months and months ago. So what's it been like keeping this relationship a secret? I was actually kind of surprised that you just really made it official a few weeks ago, right?
Yeah. So, it's weird because, we're like reliving stuff that happened 6 months ago, and we're trying to like be who we are, but, not tell everyone exactly yet. Cause, the long distance is kind of like played into our minds, and we both are entrepreneurs and like running crazy businesses. So I think it was me more being scared to like make the commitment of like, all right, can we do this long distance relationship? Cause I kind of got out of one of those last winter where it didn't work out too well. So, I think it was me more being the hesitant one. And then I was like, all right, like, let's do this so that we can, actually see where this goes. So, we were around people that didn't like know officially that we were together, and we've been dating for a while, just not putting a title on it. So, about a month and a half ago, we were like, all right, let's put a title on it. And yeah, it's great. I mean, nothing's changed. It's just only gotten better. So nothing like crazy is going on besides just us living and loving life.
That's great. Nobody was like, all right, it's either we're going to do this or we're going to break up. So it was just like, it was a very natural thing.
It was. I mean, like I said, we both were like thinking it, and we like, I was telling people I'm dating a girl and she was saying the same thing. So we literally were saying it without being like, hey, do you want to be my boyfriend? Do you want to be my girlfriend type of deal,
I love it. What is the secret to your long distance relationship, and how are you guys kind of trying to navigate that?
So she actually mentioned this in one of her podcasts, I think a couple weeks ago. So when we left Summer House, I took a bunch of film photos, and one of the things I had like 200-300 of them, and she was asking for all of them. She was like, hey, can I have one? And I was like, no, I don't want to give you all because it'll kind of just be like a cool moment. I was like, I'm going to give you one a day. So every day since finishing Summer House, I've sent her one photo of us or her or something about our experience together. So that's just kind of like keeping it fun and fresh so that it always is like something we can talk about. And then we make effort to see each other. I mean, she's came down to visit me and help out with my gym, and I'm in New York a lot. So, I mean, I love the city, so it's not hard to go visit her at all. But I think it's the effort thing, to be honest with you, is like, all right, are we going to actually see each other and making those plans? And I'm horrible at planning things. So she's really good. So it's like one of my weak points of like, yeah, I'll figure it out. And I'm like, I'll show up tomorrow. She's like, no, I need to know like a week in advance what's happening. And I'm like, I have no idea. I'll just show up. So, but yeah, she's really good at that as well.
I love that. What are you going to do when all the pictures run out?
So it's funny. So we made a pact too. We said, because they've ran out a couple of times. We're like, if we don't see each other before the pictures run out, we have to plan to see each other before they run out so that we can take more pictures. So it's like, from the Summer House, they've already ran out from Summer House. So like we were in Miami together and taking pictures. So it's like throughout, our months, I always have my film camera on me. So I'm always taking pictures of that.
I love that. I think in this past episode, or maybe Paige said that you and Sam were just kind of like a fun summer fling. Did you think at the time that that's just kind of what it was?
Kind of at first. I mean, I think the first time like meeting her, hearing about she had a whole roster of guys and stuff. And like, I didn't want to I don't jump into things head first and be like, okay, we made out. That means like we have to be a boyfriend, girlfriend, because in my mind, I'm like, we're long distance. So like, let's just kind of keep it super casual and not putting pressure on it. And if it's a summer fling, awesome. I met a really cool girl, but I kind of want to see how, it goes after the summer ends. So I think at first I 100% thought it was going to be like a little fling because, we're very similar in like having rosters and just like doing our own thing. So I didn't want to have expectations, but the more weeks that we spent together, it kind of, just progressed naturally into a little bit more serious. So
definitely. Do you, Paige, Craig, and Sam, they all double date? Do you guys
yeah. So like when we're in the city all together, I mean, I show up at Paige's house and, Craig's always there. And then, me and Craig have been homies since college. So Paige and Sam get along really well. So it's easy for us just to kind of like all click. So we try to do as much as possible. I know Paige and Craig kind of travel a lot too. So when we do happen to be in the city together, which I think I'll be up there next week, we're going to all, get dinner, at least have drinks or something like that. So
yeah, they've been talking a lot about taking the next steps in their relationship. Do you foresee them having an engagement by the end of the year or sometime soon?
I was on Watch What Happens with Craig, 6 months ago, and he was saying like in 2023 that's going to happen. And I haven't put pressure to ask him, but in Craig's mind, she's the one, and I think she thinks the same thing too. And it's just the distance thing is the hardest part because Craig doesn't want to leave Charleston. She doesn't want to leave New York. I think there's a happy compromise, but I think Craig's gonna have to compromise a little bit more and be up in New York just a little bit more than her down in Charleston. But I see them going the distance. They're amazing for each other, and I want them to because it gets me to hang out with both of them all the time more. So I love that.
Definitely. Paige said that on a scale of 1 to 10, that Craig is a 7.5 for her. But she did take that back. But where do you rank Craig for Paige?
For Craig, for Paige, I think they're a 10, to be honest with you. They literally have these like subconscious things that just like click for them, like they honestly, like they love laying in bed and watching their stupid shows together. And like, I couldn't do that, but like Craig needs someone to do that. And same with Paige. And like they mesh on a different level. And I think that they're actually really good for each other and bring each other up. They have their own like things that they're doing. And I think it's fun to see.
Definitely. I hate to put you on the spot, but where do you rank Sam for you?
A 12. Sam is amazing. Literally, she is like the best person for me. I mean, I couldn't be happier right now. We're amazing together. She brings me up, and I hope I do the same for her. And there hasn't been a bad moment with her yet. So yeah, been all positive vibes.
Are you in love?
I think it's a little early to say that, but I'm excited to see where it goes, to be honest with you. Yeah,
definitely. What's the most romantic thing? I know that you do a lot of romantic gestures for her. What's the most romantic thing that she has done for you?
Oh, the most romantic thing she's done for me. So for Valentine's Day, she took me to, I love like photography and like cool architectural and stuff. And she surprised me with it's the One Tower or something where it's all mirrors and glass. So she surprised me for that. Went to that. And then we had an amazing like Italian dinner afterwards. And then she took me to like the speakeasy, amazing time. And we don't really do like crazy romantic things. I think it's more of like the small things. Like my gym hit 10,000 followers, which is big for my gym. We've been trying to build that up. And she sent pizza that said 10K on it to all my employees to my gym. I had no idea I was doing that at all. My my manager calls me, is like, yo, why is there a pizza that says 10K on it? And she didn't tell me, and just kind of did that. So I think it's the small gestures that show kind of the appreciation and that, the love there, more than like the big romantic gestures, I
love that. That's so sweet. I love that. In next week's episode, Lindsay does question you. I mean, this is going back 6 months, but asking how you were different with Jess and with Sam, and if dating somebody on the show was your thing. What's kind of your response to that?
Mine and Jess's relationship was completely different. It was kind of like a new thing. We were both on shows for the very first time, so we didn't really know how to react. And she kind of was like going all in at first. And Sam was like, hey, let's keep it casual at first too. I think Sam and I were on such a more of the same page, versus Jess and I had no idea kind of what was going on. And Winter House, it's like 17 days straight. You don't leave the house really. You do, but it's like cabin fever. With Summer House, you get to like go home for the weekend. So you have that separation, which is good in an early relationship, to kind of see like, hey, I miss you, and let me text you throughout the week. So I think that's important of like truly building a relationship. And I think that's kind of what separates it. And having a relationship on TV is hard. I mean, there's people that do it all the time, but you're in the spotlight more. Everything's like under a magnifying glass of what you do and what you don't. So it puts this extra pressure on things that Sam has been really good about not letting that pressure get to her, or outside forces, because people are going to talk shit, especially online, about what I am or not, or what she is, so it's like ignoring that and just understanding what we are together is the only thing that matters, and bump everything else. So
yeah, definitely gotta block out the noise. I mean, have you talked to Jess recently? Did the two of you end on good terms at all?
I haven't talked to her in a while, but we did end on good terms. It was kind of like one of those things where we were just, not seeing eye to eye. And we kind of had a conversation being like, hey, I think honestly, we should kind of just like take a break and go separate ways. And, if it's meant to be, it'll, come back. But before we try to like really push this hard and then we hate each other afterwards, let's just kind of go our separate ways. So like, I wish her the best. I think she's like in another relationship. I think on TikTok or something. So like, I wish her the best. I think that's amazing. I want her to be happy. It looks like she is. So like, I think we ended it as best as you can. Like if she called me up and was having, second thoughts about like what she should do on TV, I would be there and be like, hey, like as a friend, but there's no ill will towards her on that. So
definitely. Yeah. Well, being in the Summer House, you're immersed in all this drama that is going on between everybody. And, the big storyline this season is Danielle and Lindsay. As an outsider coming into this, do you feel like Danielle was kind of justified in her feelings? I know that you and Lindsay and Carl spend a lot of time together too. So, do you feel like Danielle was justified?
So I think Danielle is coming from like a true place. Like I think she feels hurt as a best friend and being there for a best friend. And I think that she just came about it or vocalized it a little wrong, or like kind of not going right to the source and like trying to figure her out. I don't think her feelings are invalid of like how she is hurt by a friend, but it's weird. Best friends weird things happen when, someone moves that next step with someone else of getting, engaged, and you kind of get like left behind. And I think that all played into it. And she just didn't know how to go about it properly on like sitting down and really coming to like a resolution. So it's sad to see that happen, because I think that they both wanted it to work, and it was just in a wrong communication pattern of like, I think there should have been like a mediator being like, okay, this is what you say, this is what you should say, and then kind of go back in there. Cause Lindsay's, aggressive personality. And then I think Danielle has a little bit of that as well. So it's like I said, it's sad, cause I love both of them, and I got to know both of them really well this summer. And, it's just one of those where it's hard because they almost like, you almost have to take sides in a weird way. And it's like, I love both of them. So it's like, I can understand both perspectives, but it is what it is at the end of the day.
No, you think she'll be at the wedding?
I think the reunion is going to kind of make or break that. So I think we'll have to watch the reunion, and that will really decide what happens with the wedding.
Definitely. How are Carl and Kyle? It seems like they are on better terms. And do you think that like it was the right idea for Carl to leave Loverboy, to kind of, maybe salvage this friendship as well?
Yeah, so I've hung out with both of them fairly recently, actually, and they're good. They're kind of like rebuilding what they had, and which is really good to see. When you hire one of your best friends, which I've done in the past, it's hard to separate friendship from like business. And it's like, hey, I love you as a friend, but business-wise, we're not doing well, so let's separate that. And it gets so cloudy to do that. And I think he had to leave to salvage that friendship, because if he would have stayed, he might have been a stay for another year, but then when he did leave, I think it was been like Lindsay and Danielle, where they're just like, I don't want to talk to you anymore, and this is done. So I think it was kind of mature to do that at this point to get to be friends again. So it's good to kind of see that kind of like slowly coming back, and I think they'll get back to being, BFFs.
What did you think watching back and noticing that Ciara was kind of into you as well?
So it's weird because Craig and I have such a great relationship that like, him and Paige and then like Ciara. So we're always around each other when we're hanging out. So, I'm super flirty by nature. So like when we kind of flirt with each other, I don't always see it, I guguess, on like from her perspective. So I actually had no idea until watching it back that she was kind of like, flirting with me like under the radar. But, it's always fun to see that. And it makes you feel good that someone like was flirting with you. So, I liked it. So
definitely flattered.
Yeah, I was flattered. Yeah.
I love it. Well, Kory, thank you so much. I appreciate your time and excited to see how the rest of the season plays out.
Thank you so much. Yeah. And enjoy watching.
Definitely. Take care. Thanks.
See you guys.
Bye. For more news, content, and exclusive interviews, make sure to hit the sub, like, and bell button down below and visit usmagazine.com.